Hi, welcome to my first episode of my YouTube channel. Now, before I jump into what I usually want to talk about, I just wanted to share why I wanted to start this YouTube channel to begin with. I actually started a podcast earlier in the year, I guess during the summer. Just talking a lot about different, things that happened in my life and different stories that I wanted to share about. But that kind of fell off because I realized I was kind of all over the place. I was always thinking about what I wanted to say next. I had a lot of different, topics I wanted to talk about without really organizing my thoughts. And so after that, I found that I was on TikTok a lot, being inspired by a lot of different content creators, watching a lot of different videos about so many different topics that I didn't even know that people thought about, and I felt like so many of them were very relatable. So that kind of inspired me to, start trying again. And the thing with when I was doing my podcast is that I felt like I was definitely very camera shy. To begin with, I'm like a very shy and awkward person, so I guess the thought of speaking in front of a camera really scared me. So I decided to just record my voice, knowing that, people weren't going to judge me for the way that I looked, and I felt like managing my voice was so much more easier than to, think about once I turn on my camera, am I gonna look good in this angle, or should I film it from the side and stuff like that. So I just kind of left that to the imagination, and I thought okay, I'm just gonna record my voice until I've been coming across a lot of different videos and content where people just kind of talk about what are the good ways to get started with podcasting, and I guess it might be easier for you to be able to relate to me if you were able to see what I look like rather than just hearing my voice. So I thought that was some really good advice. So I started to think about how I was going to get started doing videos. So here I am. And if you watch until this point, thank you so much. Being on TikTok a lot, I just was so inspired by so many of the content creators. I myself actually work in advertising, so I come across tons and tons of content all the time. And so being a content creator has always been in the back of my mind, but I've always been scared to do it. And then after just coming across so many, especially Gary Vee videos where he's just you know what, no one cares. No one cares if you're gonna make a fool out of yourself, as long as you're confident. Just if you have content you want to talk about, just post it. And so just seeing that all the time really pushed me to do this now. And I was definitely one of those people where I felt I had to get the right equipment, I had to get the right stuff and everything, had to make sure that everything was professional and stuff before I got started. And I felt that really set me back as well, because another thing that I also learned was that in order to be successful you have to make mistakes along the way. So I saw that there were a lot of people who would just get started, and as they screwed up, as they had people comment saying your lighting's not right, your equipment's not right and stuff like that, they would then make adjustments then, instead of what I did, which is sitting on it for so long, so many years. I swear I sat in front of the camera for the first time when I was 21, and how different things would have been if I actually kept up with it and continued filming YouTube videos back then. But right now, I feel I've learned a lot though in the last few years, and now I finally have built up the courage to actually talk about things that I've learned. So with my YouTube channel, I really wanted to talk about some of my life experiences and just share stories that I've learned from. And I feel when I was in high school, I've always really, I knew that I wasn't an intelligent person, and during that time I was just I was never good at school. And so I felt because of that I was never really confident. And so I felt like I always wanted to, you know, wait for that point where it's like, when I was in high school, I wasn't a confident girl, but through these experiences, I can finally say that I'm confident now. So I kept waiting for that moment to happen for me to be able to get on a platform and be able to share, to be like, it's okay if you were an awkward and unconfident girl or boy when you were in high school, but it's gonna be okay. And I'm not successful yet. I'm not really at that point where I'm gonna be like, you know, don't worry, like everything's gonna be good for you, because look at where I am now. I'm definitely not at that point yet. But I can definitely tell you that I am happy now. When I was in high school, there were so many things that I hated myself, and I felt like that was one of the most challenging things, which is that I grew up in a household where you're judged for making mistakes. So I felt like the fact that I failed classes all the time, even though now they teach you that, you know, school isn't everything, it's not what really truly shows how intelligent you are. But when I was in high school, that wasn't what my parents told me. So for the longest time, I thought that I was, you know, like pretty dumb. And not that I'm a super smart person now, but I definitely had a lot of other things to make up for it. Like, even though I wasn't good at school, but I was an excellent team player at work. People always told me how hardworking I was all the time and how good I was at catching on with projects. So I wasn't good at school, but I was really good at work. And in the end, that's kind of what matters, right? Because you're going to school so that you could get a good job. And so over the years, I've definitely really improved in terms of how much confidence I have in myself. And I've also realized that there's so much more important things in life than, you know, just thinking about how intelligent you are. But that was definitely something that I struggled with for a long time when I was in high school. So I'm happy to say that now I no longer struggle with those things. I definitely wouldn't say that I'm at where I thought I would be at this age, but I no longer judge myself for that. I felt like I was supposed to, at this point, have a really great career with an expectation of how much I was going to get paid, so that I'd be able to take care of my parents and be able to provide them a better life. I focus on that so much in the past that I feel like I threw away a lot of my own happiness. And so now that I feel like I've gotten to the point where I've really solidified what my priorities should be, I feel a lot happier now. And I feel like my parents are a lot more happier with me as well. And so I just have to keep reminding myself that I need to go at my own pace. And if my parents don't care what age my definition of success is, then I shouldn't put that type of pressure on myself, and neither should you. But, you know, everyone ages at different times, right? That's also something that I feel like I heard all the time, which is that, like, you shouldn't give yourself an expiry date, pretty much. And I feel like that I've definitely come a long way until I really learned that. Well, thank you for listening, and I can't wait to share with you the rest of the content that I have to share with you. Oh, and also, now that I'm starting a YouTube channel, I guess I have to tell you to hit the subscribe button so I can share the rest of my journey with you. Thanks, bye.